C-Doc again.
What up, party people? I'm your host, C-Doc. Not really.
Wait, where's Rocco? I thought this was the Rocco show.
Right. Rocco grew up and turned into female. Yeah, I would happen to be sitting in for C-Doc right now, who is probably on his way home. Mad rush.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know who I am, I would be Jennifer O'Jenny. I believe C-Doc describes me as Our Lady from the heyday of K-Day. That would be me.
Would be her.
Sitting next to me, not Fisto, but sitting next to me over here.
I have to give
New Jersey. You what?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. From New Jersey, better known as one of the founders, co-hosts of People's Distinctive Travels, Ultra Mag 7.
Applause.
And I would say who everybody else is, but ain't nobody else here. No C-Doc, no Flatline, No. Hold on a minute. The president of Rap Station Radio and the host of Hip Hop Gods on Rap Station, one Mr. Flatline. All right.
Flatbread pizza.
Man, I made it.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
You did.
Just
and
barely.
We're so glad you did.
I'm sure that you are.
Believe me, we are so glad you did. What's happening, Flatline?
Oh, it's just posting about my new show. Because I'm back from my summer break. So
he's back.
Playing
the new Hip Hop Gods?
Yep.
Is it a good one?
It is a good one. Lots of new music.
Awesome.
Yeah. Did you want to hear about the new music, or are we jumping right in, or what's going on?
No, I want to hear.
Anything
you care to share?
Okay, well, I'm gonna run down the playlist. I have it right here in front of me.
All right.
New DJ Too Tough, New Wesson, DJ Muggs featuring CeeLo Green, Nas, Ray West featuring AG, the B-Boys, Cam featuring Corrupt and the Chill, produced by Battlecat. Be Divine featuring PMD and Tone Spliff. Have you heard this one? Focus featuring Def Jeff and Grandmaster Kaz. Crazy.
No.
I have not heard it.
It's so dope. Mr. Little One, The Duo, and Finnis featuring Cocaine. DJ E Rex featuring Chris Rivers, Legacy, and Mikey D. That's dope. Cole 187 featuring Ice Cube, Be Legit, and Tony Touch featuring The Birthday Boy, Chuck D, and Bobby Sessions.
Toka. Yep.
Toka. That's right.
Yes. And
quite a rundown.
Now that you say that, The Birthday Boy, a big, huge happy birthday.
Yep.
To the one and only Mr. Chuck D. There, yeah,
yep.
That guy right there.
And
Griff.
Yep.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah. Oh shit! What are you about to do?
All I heard was lots and lots of.
I knew something was happening.
He's knocking the gnomes out of the way.
All my Griff tapes earlier and did a story for those.
Oh yeah.
Because I got all his first 4 on cassette.
Last Asiatic disciples.
Yep. Like pawns in the game.
Oh, that was yeah.
What does your shirt
That's a good
say?
one. Who, me?
Ether.
Yeah.
Oh,
That shit that make your soul burn. Oh.
burn slow. Nasty Nas. Nasty Nas.
Gotcha.
Nice one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know.
I have not seen that before. That's great.
Thank you. You know.
Oh, he's looking around to see what gnome he can
No.
go grab something else.
I try to wear a different hip hop shirt every time, but I'm running out of shirts.
I don't.
Yeah, because you make them.
Right.
Fisto.
Yeah.
But my Fisto is special. Not only does he glow in the dark, but he has rhinestones on his eyes.
Wow.
Wow.
Can you see him?
Yeah, I do. That's crazy.
Nope.
He has rhinestones on his eyes. He's special.
Of course.
Speaking of special and Fisto and all of that. Not this weekend, but next weekend, our buddies Yag Fow y'all are going to be honored in the city of Raleigh at the City of Raleigh Museum 50th anniversary of hip hop, and they're going to perform.
Wow, really? Man.
They're going to perform, all of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
We even did jingle this time.
Yeah.
Jingle bell.
That is, J Bells Roxwell. It is so exciting. I can't hardly stand it.
Yeah. That's great.
So if you're anywhere near Raleigh, go hang out at the celebration. Apparently they have it's like they're closing off the streets and everything, and they're having this big thing, and then they're having a sneaker ball.
What is a sneaker ball?
Beats me. It's kind of like a white party. I don't know. It's a sneaker ball.
Okay.
That's a your side of the country thing. I don't know.
No. I'm that's down south. I'm northeast.
Okay. Well, there you go. But your side of the country, because it's not mine. But yeah, apparently it's them. I want to say possibly little brother will be there.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. There it was rumored Petey Pablo and possibly J. Cole, but I don't know that either of them have. I don't know. But anyway, they were grabbing everybody they could who was actually from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Is Entice going to be there?
No.
Okay.
No, so don't get too excited. They show up in formal wear and the flyest kicks you'll ever see. Sneaker ball. There you go. That's what a sneaker ball is. Formal wear and sneakers.
Okay.
Formal wear and sneakers. It's not unusual.
Yeah.
I think my niece got married and everybody was wearing radically colored Converse. So.
Yeah, well, in New York they wear Tim, so
It's a thing.
It's a
thing. Why not? So what else, Flatline? What else you got going on? Or do we have any idea what C-Doc's pick of the week was?
It was DJ Too Tough. It was something off the new album, which is available now on the Spit Slam record label group.
Absolutely.
It's called Me Versus Me.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's well worth your time.
And yes, you were saying Ultra?
No, I said I heard the album in its infancy, and it's a very good album. Mm-hmm. Very good album.
Yeah. Well, and it's Too Tough.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of goes without saying. Oh boy.
Man.
You know. Oh. Here we go.
Shit, where is it?
Oh shit, where is it?
You gotta be on point, Flatline. You gotta be on point.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which one? Yeah.
That was a laugh.
Do I need to pull out the third one on CD?
Oh no.
That my friends are on?
Go ahead.
I have two friends in the group? No, I don't have it. I'm sorry. It's over there with the CDs.
Do you know how many gnomes he'd have to displace to get to the CDs?
Yeah. The Smurfs are off today.
Damn Smurfs. Right. You know, I always got to try to take a day off. What the hell's going on? But somebody who doesn't take a day off, I noticed that a certain person has joined us in the green room, and I think we should just bring him on. Better known as AJ Rok from JVC Force. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Woodson.
Hey.
Yeah.
Ultra Mag, big fan. I follow you and like everything on Instagram.
Thank you, sir.
No doubt.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Jennifer, good to see you in person after we talked on the phone for
Yes.
days.
Yes, you too. Yes.
Are y'all streaming on YouTube as well? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a page.
We are
Hip Hop Gods Radio. What is it?
It's C-Doc again.
Oh, on YouTube, it's Channel 0.
Channel 0.
No wonder I didn't find it because I was looking for hip. I looked at Hip Hop Gods Radio. That's what I put in.
That might be a problem. Yeah. Just a little problem.
Yeah. So what's good people?
What's good with you?
Ultra.
Staying busy, man. I'm out here fighting the power. I got a newspaper called Black Westchester.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting the power. Just came from 3 different events. You know, got a young man out here got killed by the police in New Rochelle, home of Brand New Beers and Master of Ceremony and Rough House Survivors. You know what I'm saying? Right in that same area where they all live. And they have this thing called the National Night Out where all the cops do. And all the different cities. And the family is protesting right out at their event tonight, right? So right now. So
Wow.
Oh, is that what you were at when I
was actually at an environmental justice program, and then they had a affordable housing program right before that. So yeah, it was crazy. So I stay running around, you know, trying to, you know, do my little part for my people.
Can you talk about the newspaper, the Black Westchester? Can you talk about the newspaper a little bit? Like, you know, what actually it is and what you're doing in the community?
So me and my partner, I just wanted to represent my Knicks real quick, but it's too hot for the hat though. But me and my partner, Damon K. Jones, well, long story short, or as Denzel said, to make a long story longer. So my mother, I was in Atlanta. My mother got stage 4 cancer. I got the call. I came back home. While I was in the time I was in Atlanta, my partner that I had a music company with, Damien, he got more into activism and all this stuff, and he's always having all these press conferences. And he got tired of the news showing like a clip of the press conference, missing the point and the meaning of the press conference. So I'm at the hospital every day with my mom, and he's like, I know you need a break. So he had me come videotape one of his press conferences. Then he puts it on YouTube, and then you can see the whole entire press conference. So he sends me the clip. I always had a blog or something. It was 4 black parole officers. They went to Ramapo, that's further up west, just further upstate, to get an escaped parolee. He wasn't there, and as they left the town, they got stopped by the local white cops. They got pulled out of the government van they were in. They got held at gunpoint. They had vests that said NYS, New York State Parole, on it, bulletproof vests. They had their badges on chains around their neck. They were in a government vehicle, and they were held at gunpoint for 45 minutes. Even to the point one of the cops said, "Oh, that's Johnson. He's head of parole. I know him." That was another 20 minutes before they, it was over. They feared for their life. Nothing ever happened. Of course, nobody went to jail. So at this day, these 4 black parole officers are having a press conference. They're suing the police department. My partner sends me a video of the press conference, and I basically write something along the lines of, "Yo, it ain't safe for them. What chance a brother like me got on the street?" And that became the birth of Black Westchester, news with the black point of view.
Wow.
Literally, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like we were changing the narrative. Like, okay, so we got the young man who just got killed in New Rochelle. The first thing they do, the major press say, he had a criminal past. He'd been arrested before. He was on some kind of drugs or something. They dehumanize him. I sit there, I humanize him. He was a father. He was a brother. He was an uncle. They don't write about he was a organ donor. 4 of his organs saved 4 people from New York to Ohio to Pennsylvania from the ages of 35 to 78. Like, they don't write that story, just that, he was a criminal. He basically had a little mental health issues. He went into a store. He had a banana and 3 grapes. Cops came, and he ended up dead. The cop shot him. You know what I mean? So those are the kind of things we do. We write our stories without changing the narrative to us. We highlight our unsung heroes in the community that have been doing the work for years, but they don't get no press. They don't get no major write-ups or nothing like that. We celebrate them. We hold the elected officials' feet to the fire. We help elected officials get in, and if they don't act right, we help them get back out. So
Right.
So it's funny because it's like people always ask me. So I get to speak to kids a lot, and they ask me, what lesson did I learn in hip hop that carries me through? So I was a writer for years, Source, Vibe, all that, but I was the writer side. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the publisher, the editor. I had to get the advertisement. I was never that dude. I didn't even know how to do a newspaper. So what I did is I come from the sampling era. You know what I'm saying? 88, we took a little bit of a whole lot of things and made our own. So I took all the Amsterdam news and all the local papers and found out what I liked and what I didn't like and put it together and took sections from every paper, the Jewish publications, every paper, every free publication I found everywhere from here to Atlanta. I would gather them, I put them all together, and I'm just making it up as we go along. 9 years, we're celebrating the 9-year anniversary right now. And,
wow.
That's
a couple of awards later, a couple of citations and certificates and proclamations on my wall, and so we the same energy with hip hop, the same how back then when in B-Boy back then in '87 when we did Strong Island. We didn't know what we was doing. We didn't know nothing about the business like a lot of other people. We was in good company. You know what I'm saying? We just wanted to hear ourselves on the radio so we could get the girls. We just wanted to see ourselves in the magazines so we could get the girls. We just wanted to do shows so we could get the girls. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but we didn't know nothing about the business. So we were making this up. JVC Force was always a self-contained crew. We didn't really have outside producers in the beginning. We didn't have all that. We wrote the stuff up, me and B-Love. Sometimes he wrote it because I handled a lot of the business side, so he handles more of the writing. But, I did write some of my stuff. And Kirk did most of the music. We suggested music, and he produced it all. and we set it up, and we went in the studio. North Shore Soundworks, Charlie Murata, 4 hours, bang, we out, joints.
Wow. Mm.
And so the whole album we did. It was nobody. The album cover we did ourselves. The Doing Damage, we were actually taking pictures, running around taking pictures. We found that car on the side of South. We found that car on the side of the road broken down. We broke it down.
No!
We broke it up a little bit more, jumped on top of it, and did an album Doing Damage.
That's hysterical.
Wow.
That car looked like some damage had been done to it. So
yeah, it did.
So everything was us back then. And then when we started to get a little more successful, we got our idlers. Now we got people telling us what to do. Like idlers had, they just had Jungle Brothers, Girl I'll House You. We had a joint. We got our own thing, but we were in between labels when Heavy D came out. So ours was more hip hop, with the more scratching and more like a premiere type thing with more scratching, the hook and all that. There was more radio friendly, but it was dope though. That was my boy. So they said, well, we don't want to put that out because he's already out. Why don't we change it to a hip house record? And they changed it to a record called It's a Force Thing. To be honest, we did it, but I did it kicking and screaming. I wasn't really into the whole hip house thing. I did like Girl I'll House You, but I like that from them. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Right.
I do like it. So now we got people telling us what to do. Then when we finally get off of them, we get on Big Beat. Now we got producers and people picking tracks and bringing people in to produce stuff for us. And it wasn't the same thing no more. It was like we was always a self-contained crew. Like, we did everything. Right. We literally did everything ourselves.
Right.
It wouldn't be. I couldn't forget to start out. I should have started out this way. Happy born day to my brother Chuck D, who I'm sitting here because of him, because he said Strong Island where I got him wildin', and we sampled that and made a whole record around it. Like Strong Island, like the verse, the word Strong Island.
Yeah.
So I'm here, and back then you'd be like, you couldn't really bite from people, and you wonder what people would think if you do something like that. So I never met Chuck at this point. You know what I'm saying? So then his next album comes out, and they're like, yo, Chuck thanks you on the back of his album. I'm like, he does what? So in his thank yous, it says JVC Strong Island Force. I'm like, yo, we sampled him. He thanked us.
All right.
He's always been my hero. And then one time he was on an MTV or something we were never on. And they asked him, what you mad about or something? And he goes on about something. And then just in the middle of that, just all of a sudden goes, you know what I'm mad about? Groups like JVC Force don't get to do that they supposed to get. And I'm like, yo, what? Like, dude, this is on like Rolling Stone or MTV or something, like somewhere that we weren't getting no coverage. Like, and he's always been that dude. Like, even like before I really knew him, like he always gave us love. So like he gave love to so many, Leaders of the New School wouldn't have been that without him. Sons of Berserk, all those groups, like that whole crew, our crew, a lot of people owe their success to them. Ice Cube, I tell that story all the time. Long Island is such a point. I used to write for the Long Island edition of the Village Voice. And Mount Vernon, where I live now, I'm born and raised in Mount Vernon, but I lived in Long Island and went back and forth. Mount Vernon they were talking about doing a hip hop museum. So the Long Island Voice was like, nah, we should have art. So they wanted me to do an article dissing Mount Vernon. I wasn't never going to do that because I lived there. I'm from there. But I talked about the importance of Long Island. One of the stories people don't know, Ice Cube was on a bus, NWA. They were on tour with EPMD. For some reason, Cube is sitting in the bus with Parrish in them. Parrish in them is like, yo, dude, you're writing all these platinum records. You ain't got no money. We gonna go. We got cars. We got houses. It was Parrish talking to him that made him start looking at his business, that made him leave NWA, and look where it went to. So that was one part. And when he did his solo album, where did he go? The Bomb Squad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like Long Island has many of these kinds of stuff that even how it affected the ethos of hip hop everywhere else. Like it's Yeah.
So let's take it all the way back to Long Island.
I did a little bit of everything.
That's beautiful. But let's take it back to Long Island. You said you grew up. So, where did you grow up?
So here's the story. And it's funny, I got a new YouTube thing that I do. It's called Relax and Take Notes. It's a Biggie sample. From 914 to the 516 and back again. So I was born in Mount Vernon. My father worked for the local Tarrytown, local General Motors in Tarrytown. At some point, you want your kids to have better than you. So my parents decided to move to Suffolk County to Central Islip. It's a new black development, American Estates. They call it the New D. Open it up, and we got a house that was built for my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how. So I went from. So my parents got divorced, and I became and my grandfather, my mother's father, who lived in Mount Vernon, died too. And he was like the closest person to me. So for some reason, I became a rebel without a pause or a cause. I thought, as a young cat, I thought it was my fault that my parents broke up. Because it'd be like, my moms was yelling at me, and my father would be like, you ain't got to yell at the boy like that. And they have a knockout, drag out argument. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
They would have argued anyway, but what I'm saying? At the point, I thought, so I'm blaming myself. So my parents are divorced. I'm acting out. My mom's like, yo, you're going back to Mount Vernon with your father. So I went to Mount Vernon for high school, and then I kind of was back and forth. So now I come back after high school. Bill and Kurt, B-Love and Kurt Cazal, they're a couple of years younger. They're doing house parties. They got their little local crews. Kurt had a little local crew. B had a little local crew, and at some point they joined forces. So the cats on the block, Mike Walls, Rodney Norman, both of them, my next door neighbor and my boy Mike Walls, they're telling me, yo, hey, you got to check out Bill and them. They doing their thing now. So, I'm trying to chill. I'm mad that I'm back in Long Island, and I'm saying? I'm going back and forth because I keep getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know how your parents would be like, you know what your son did when you did something wrong? And it was my son. Yeah. There was a whole lot of what your son did. Like,
right.
So I go to the party with them, and it's cool. And they like, yo, let A get on the mic. Let A get on the mic. It's a little house party. Brentwood right on the borderline, Mount Central Islip and Brentwood. So I'm like, I get on, I do a couple of rhymes, and B-Love being B-Love ain't gonna let nobody come to his set. And even though we knew each other since he was 5 and I was 7, that's when we met when I first moved out there. He still ain't gonna let nobody show him up on his set. So B, he spit something. It wasn't an official battle, but it was like he went, then I went, then he went, then I went, then he went, then I went. The bottom line at the end of the night was like everybody talking about how dope we sounded together.
Wow.
The next day we met in Kurt Cazal's garage. We're doing routines, we're making tapes, and we start making demos, and the rest is history. And that's how it happened.
Wow.
Like it's normal. Like it's just like, yo. So, and I went to high school out here in Mount Vernon, where I'm at right now. I'm on the borderline of the Bronx. So you got the Zulu Nation stuff going on. You got everything with a 4. When I'm in high school, Funky 4, all churches 3, but all the 4s and all they would all be on one flyer together, as one of these spots that like literally 10-15 minutes from my house. So even though I wasn't old enough to be in there, I was in all of those. I was in Harlem World once. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like no way in hell, but I always had a little mustache and a little goatee. So like I would go to the door with people that were of age, and I would look of age, and they would ask me if those cats was of age. So I'd be able to. So I got to see all of that stuff early on. You know what I'm saying? I got to go to a Zulu rally once. I got to see I got to see the Cold Crush Brothers at the Whole Avenue Boys Club on 174th Street off the number 2. It was a boys club. I seen them. It blew my mind. I got to see Flash and the Furious 4 before.
Wow.
In some park. All I do was we walked up, and it was like 4 or 5 brothers with long black trench coats on, and there was this dope thing. And Flash is actually doing. Flash is on the beatbox. He's actually doing the beatbox.
Wow.
And Raheem is still with Funky 4, so it was only 4. Yo, I fell in love, dude. I was like, yo, this is it. Like that was it. It was the Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, and Mo D, and that was my rap for me. That made me want to pick up a mic professionally. That was it. So that was the whole back and forth. So I explained that I got to give Central Islip a lot of credit, because that made me, that was part of who I am. Mount Vernon and living out here is also part of who I am. It's like, if it was countries, I'd have dual citizenship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I represent the both for both. So in Long Island, I got to be, I went to school with Kevin Madison, K Solo. Keith Murray's a little younger than us. Craig Mack, when he was Craig Mack, before he went by his name, he was MC Troop in '88.
Yeah.
I mean,
Zoom. Yeah.
These people around, you know what I'm saying? I got to see Rakim in Wine Dance Day. I went to school with I went to architectural drafting school with Dave from De La in Amityville Institute of Drafting and Technical Institute or something like that. Yeah, we went to a draft. You know, it was both our parents the same thing. Well, you're gonna have to get a job. You know, now I'm out of school. Mom's like, you're gonna live here. You need a job. So you know, all I was doing was music, getting high and listening to music. That's all I was doing. At that time, that wasn't a job. So, you know,
right.
It became a job later. At that time, it wasn't a job. So yeah, I went to drafting school with Dave, and neither one of us ended up doing that. So I knew Prince Paul when we were both 16. My same friend, Mike Walls, he lived in Amityville. My mom, we went to a party at there, a backyard party, barbecue. Me and him walked off. He introduced me to 2 DJ Pauls. One went to the Army. He was real nice, and the other one ended up being Prince Paul Houston. So I know him. So I got all of that, and then I'm Mount Vernon in high school. I went to school with Albie Shore. I went to school with I went to school with his brother Floyd is my age. The White was younger, so I really didn't know him that well. Pete was 4 years younger, so he was in school after I left. But my cousins lived in New Rochelle, so I got to see Pooba and them, him and his cousin Tom. And they had this dope routine from the Abbott and Costello. The Abbott and Costello, who's on first?
Yeah,
had a dope routine off of that dude. They used to kill everybody in the park with that. So I got to see all of these things. You know what I'm saying? And all of these people from here and there. You know what I'm saying? And I was blessed to be around a lot of people that made my love for hip hop just.
Yeah. So AJ, going back, and one of the things that you said that I like, you saying that how you and B Love got together because you were going back and forth, and people liked how you sounded. That's one of the things that I love about the two, the MCs and JVC Force, is that you guys would constantly come in and out of each other's songs. And a lot of groups didn't do that, or they might do it here and there, but you guys would do it for like the whole album or the whole song. So
I want to give credit where credit is due. Like I said, I did a lot of the business stuff before I knew what the business stuff was. I was a radio promoter before I knew what a radio promoter was. I just wanted to get us on the radio so the girls would see us. I was the publicist before we knew what a publicist was. I was just doing my best to get us into magazines. You know what I'm saying? We had a manager, but I'd have to call places behind him to make sure he was doing his job. So I was doing that like full time almost. And B Love, Strong Island, B Love wrote that all himself. He did the 4x4x4x4.
Wow.
That was all B Love. He brought it to me. I might have changed a word or two, you know what I'm saying? But that was so I give credit where credit is due. I mean, I did my share of writing, but B Love did. But I was handling the business side, like the stuff you don't get your name on the back of an album cover for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And labels, artists don't know how lucky they got it. They got all these people working for them. Like, we ain't even know what these things were. We were just doing them just to for real. Let me tell you, before SoundScan, remember when records used to be in the store, you go them and they just ring them up and stuff. So we would go to, I had a hustle. I would go to stores and I'd bring 4 records, right? And I would slip them in there. And I would send 5 people. So first person brought it. Second person brought it. Third person brought it. Fourth person brought it. As he's buying, the fifth person be like, yo, where you get that from? I'm looking for that. Yo, it's right there. Now I don't see it. Yo, you gonna order any more of these? The dude not paying attention. The dude is looking at the label and ordering more.
Wow.
People like, you stupid. You gave away 5 records. I said, yeah, but they sold hundreds of records afterwards, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, when SoundScan came, you couldn't do that no more. But yo, we had to hustle like that.
Yeah.
Dave Mays calls me from he's a Harvard student. The Source magazine is a 1-page sheet, front letter, front and back, out of their college dorm. All the Boston stores couldn't find the record. So he tells me, so he calls the label. The label gives me the number. I call him. He's telling me who he is and this, that, and other. So I'm like, go ahead and give the record stores my number. So I get all their stuff and I go to the label. These stores are looking for the record. They ain't getting it. They said they're ordering it. So they're like, we got it. I'm hearing a month later, they still don't got it. So B-Boy did a lot of promotion for us, but they had 3 sets of books, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Artists, the books for the IRS, and then the real books. So I don't know how much I really made, and they got probably more of my money than I did. And being a hustler, so I said, well, let me get some records, and I'll go down to Boston. I found out what consignment was. I got them to pay me to go, give me money to go to Boston, right? Mm-hmm. I got them to give me records. So I have Kurt keep him busy, and I got his car in their little garage area in that little house that you see, BDP and all that little house from B-Boy Records. I'm loading his car. I'm loading his car with joints. Matter of fact, they got joints mislabeled. So boxes of JVC Force is actually boxes of Criminal Minded and The Man in His Music, the album they did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. After Scott died, it was Scott LaRock, the man. It was basically an instrumental album. Right. You know what I'm saying? I got a box of those. It says JVC Force on it. I go down to Boston. Right. I go down to Boston. I find out what a consignment is. I find out. So say the 12-inch went for I'm making up a number, like $253 or something. Right. I was like, I'd take 50 cents off of that. I'd take 75 cents off of it if you buy a box. Oh, well, how much if we buy 5 boxes? So, dude, I you know what I'm saying? We had to hustle like that. And then we stayed out there for the weekend. And then we had this dude, Ciroc a lot, that Kurt had produced, that my manager ended up starting a little label to be on his label. And to be on his label. He pays me to bring him out. So you know what I'm saying? I got the label paying me to take the records out. I got all the records I stole from the label. I got Ray paying me to take Ciroc a lot out there. So mix Ciroc a lot. Yeah, that was his name. If you look up Ciroc a lot on YouTube, you'll see he had 2 songs, 2 singles, kind of hot. You know what I'm saying? Kurt produced it and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so we had a whole weekend of it out there. I had to do stuff like that. We had to hustle. We had to do stuff. And we did that a few times, a few places, but the record got around more than we knew it did, because B-Boy Records, there's a label, there's a book you should read. It's called Hitman. It's about the 60s. It's about all the corruption in the music business, and the government came after all of them. The only person to get caught was Barry Gordy, because he wasn't doing regular payola. What he would do is, if you're the promoter and you want to do a show for that, I'll give you the Temptations for the weekend. So now you do as many shows as you do. That's your money. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't payola. That's the only reason he getting caught. So anyway, I say that to say, B-Boy did that. They had the thing with you ever get to see the records with the corner cut off or something? Yeah. Those are cutoffs. That's what they was called. They would go out the back door. You know what I'm saying? So those don't count in your sales and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff like that. And then them being crooked, they licensed overseas to a bunch of other crooked companies. That jerked them. There was a lot of people that had the single and the remix of the single, and you know what I'm saying? And we go to London and find out our album is sold as a double album with a dude named Levi 167 on B-Boy. It's our album, his album sold together. Yo, dude, they was killing us.
Oh man!
But I learned the game. I learned the game.
Yeah.
And then I became a writer, and then I didn't know then I was becoming an activist. I started writing stuff like when, say, a Russell Simmons or whoever, not particularly him, but somebody like that was jerking artists, I would write about it. Artists were dying. We had no benefits or nothing. I was fighting for, artists to be. I was writing articles like that. So I was actually advocating for the artists, and for stuff like that, which leads to the activism kind of stuff I'm doing now. Evidently, I had no intention of doing any of this stuff though. But it's funny. Right. It's funny how things work. But yeah, but B-Love, William Taylor is my brother. If we weren't in a group, if hip hop didn't exist, that would probably still be my brother. We met when he was 5 and I was 7. His younger sister used to ride her little bike around the corner and see if my little sister was home. I guess she wouldn't go back home in time, and his mother would be like, "Go get your sister," and he would come around the block. So that's how we met. Yeah, that's literally how we met. And he said I was a bully. He said his football went over the fence one day and I wouldn't give it back. I don't remember that story. He keeps telling that story, so I'm gonna tell it because he tells everybody every time that was a thing. So I don't know when that was.
Who? So Who in the group found the Free the Pain sample for Strong Island?
Me.
Who? Wow.
Huh.
So let me just tell you something real quick. That Strong Island is one of my favorite songs, but the beat is my favorite hip hop beat of a million hip hop songs. That's my favorite hip hop beat. I love that song.
So B Love wrote the lyrics. So it didn't exist. Strong Island would have got assigned to any label. It didn't exist. What we was shopping, I wasn't even on. It's B Love, another cat doing the beatbox, and Kurt doing it's called New School. It's actually the backside of it.
Right.
That's what got assigned. What they wanted was something for the B side, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
They loved New School, so New School
Right.
was single. So B Love wrote it up. Kurt put it together, a dope mix, and he had something, and it was dope though. It was the Temptations, Cloud9 or something. It was something like crazy. So we were just saying that's not really it. We're looking for something. So B Love is up in Sullivan Community College. He's in college. His pops is an old DJ, garage full of records. So me and Kurt are at the house. Before this, a long time ago, I started out as a DJ. It was a DJ and a crew in town. It was a crew called Double Exposure who inspired us a lot in Central Iso. The DJ Spontaneous. So he came by to get a copy of my Good Times. I'm like, yeah, I can't give you my Good Times. He's like, yo, but I got, and he gave me this 45. This is the dopest thing, and people don't know about this. Yo, when I heard that song, I literally, the first time, the Band of Gold, the other side, I threw it across the room. I was mad he got me for my Good Times. So years later, back to doing Strong Island. So we're sitting in there, and we're looking for music, and I'm asking his father if he had anything by Free the Pain. I remember the name, though.
Right.
So he playing Band of Gold. And I'm like, that's not it. He said it has to be, this was the hit. Because that was the A side, Band of Gold, the single. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, eventually, is there anything on the other side? Dun, 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 dun. The easiest way to fall. That was it. Then his father, we ended up getting, his father had the whole album of Free the Pain. That was a 45. And that's where the Unchanged Generation. That's Kurt did his thing and put it together and made that whole thing. And I knew of the record and I brought it to everybody's attention, but Kurt put that together. Me and Kurt, me and Kurt have not spoken years, but I got to give credit where credit is due. It's just we just different directions and all that. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
But I mean, I give credit where credit is due. He did his thing on that. And, you know, then me and B went in the studio 4 hours, came out. Now, I can't tell you that I knew 34, 35 years later, people would be still talking about the rhymes in that record that we did. But when we walked out of that studio, we knew we had something.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you that. People would be calling me overseas and stuff all year long. I mean, 35 years later, and still people be still talking about the song. You know, so I couldn't tell. I'd be lying if I told you anything. I'd be lying. There's no way, and there's no way I knew that. We'd be having this conversation now, 35 years later, off that song.
But isn't that the general concept? When you hear something, when you've taken it all the way through, you know.
That was the best, and that was when we walked out the studio. I felt good other times. Like my favorite performance on record, I believe, is "Tear the Show Up." I think my verse, that's probably that's actually my favorite. That's probably my best verse, just forward, backwards, all the way through in that record. So, you know, I felt that. The Red Alert promo, if you ever heard that.
Bring the toys. That's the joint.
sitting in my dad's house in New Rochelle's apartment, can't think of nothing, got to go to the bathroom. Came up with the idea of the spelling thing, wrote it onto some toilet paper, came out yelling, ramming it to my father. He's like, what? Like, you know, I was like, yo, what do you think, Dad? And my younger brother, he's younger. I'm like, he's like, I think I know where you're going with it. And then we went and put that to the right, and everybody thought that was a song. So But the other time I felt the same way about Strong Island was years later when we did Big Tracks. The last thing we did really before we broke up.
Oh my God!
Same feeling. We had the same vibe. I had the same feeling when we got out the studio that we had something.
Wow.
And then the group broke up. So depending on who tells the story, I got kicked out or I left. So it depends on who tells the story that day.
Right.
Bottom line, I wasn't in the group no more. So
going back real quick to you said about the spelling rhymes, because you always hear people, K Solo and DMX were battling over the spelling rhymes, but I go back to style and lyrics, and y'all was spelling out stuff.
So quick story about that. So Kev, K Solo, when he gets out of jail, I'm seeing this girl. He's dating her sister. So they had her bring him to my house. So I didn't really do the production, so I ended up bringing him to Kurt. So Kurt did the original Spellbound.
Wow.
Before the EPMD, it's actually nicer. I don't know where this version is. And when he didn't have nothing at the end, I was like, yo, put thanks to JVC Force. Now it says something like thanks to EPMD or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Kurt did that. So Kev actually comes to my house. I'm like, yo, you bit my spelling shit, right? And I'm like, brother, I don't want to curse. Well, I heard you cursing. I'm like, nigga, you was in jail. Like, yo, what the hell? Like, where I got the spelling from was Biz. I'm the B of the I of the Z. And there was another kid in the group, Double Exposure. His name was Pee Wee, who we ended up producing and later on being Sir Rock a lot. He used to spell out his name and some rhymes. So in style and lyrics, I actually did a whole verse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, and then the Red Alert promo, my whole verse.
Yeah.
REDALERT. And for those who can't spell Red Alert and see, take it from me on Saturday, NITE 98.7 is what my dial will be. I did a lot of whole spelling in it,
Yeah.
So So I didn't know about the whole K Solo DMX thing at the time. I didn't even know that was a thing until now. I'm in Harlem. I got a clothing company with Vance Wright called Conscious Brothers, Mark 125 across from the Apollo. And I'm like, yo, tell that nigga K Solo he can suck my. I'm like, whoa, what happened? There? Yo. So then I get the book Earl, and I'm like, yo. Then I look it up. Then I find the real DMX doing the real rhyme for spell, and he sounds dope at doing it. It's like, yo. And he said they was in jail and they was battling, and K Solo was on the PC side, custody, where you taken away from you're not general population, whatever that's
called. Protective custody, yeah.
PC, yeah. You tell in jail. So so like thank God. Right?
Me either.
But so he was like, but there was a fence when they were going to be in the yard. There was a fence. So X killed everybody in the yard, and he was here, and there was this other kid. So through the fence they battle, and his last rhyme he does is Spellbound X, and K Solo, according to DMX, was like, yo, how you do that? He said, easy. Most of the letters spell together, this, that, and the other. And then when he came home, he came to me and did Spellbound.
Wow.
Yes. So there's like a million stories like that. Like, yo, dude, like, so, yo, I hear DMX version. I went to school and grew up kind of with Kev, but like, yo, X kind of, if what he said is, he put it in a book, like, yo. Like, yo.
Wow. Rest the dead DMX, man. Whew.
So I'm doing a book now called Hip Hop from the 914. That's my, there's like a lot of stories. Like I just found out. So I'll say it here first. So DMX started out as a beatbox. Hence the name DMX, not Dark Man X or whatever. The machine, the beat machine, DMX, that DMX the beatbox, that was his name. And he was beatboxing for a kid from White Plains who came out later called TQ, Top Quality. That was on Parrish's label. Yeah, see? Magnum Opus. Yeah. And before he got signed, he's the first artist of White Plains to get signed. Before he got signed, X used to run around and do the beatbox, and TQ used to run.
Wow.
Found that out, and I just found one of TQ's cousins at one of these hip hop events. So I'm about to, confirm everything with TQ. But yeah. So all kinds of stories like that is in the book. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Say, Mr. Mag, I have that on CD, but I'm not going to run and go get it, just so you know. Just in case you're keeping score, Jennifer.
It's not a contest.
I am not keeping score anymore.
I had to put the shirt up behind me because that's the first time I performed Strong Island by myself, and it was the first time I had performed in 20 years at the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame the weekend before Father's Day. So that's the shirt from the event. That's yeah. So
I saw a video of that. That was dope. I saw a video of that.
So yeah, that was I've always performed that record with B.
Mm-hmm.
He starts it off. We go back and forth. Like I'm like, and I hadn't performed in public in the streets. Is he the DMX that Just I shout out in the song? That I don't now don't get me.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because there was Davey DMX and there was other DMX, there was somebody else. So I'm not sure, but I will find that question out. Whoever that is, I will find out, because if there's any truth to that, I'm putting that in my book. So
That's my girl Sunshine.
Peace, Sunshine. That's what's up. Yeah. So what was that? What was I talking about? What was we talking about just now?
Performing by yourself with Strong Island.
I hadn't performed in public in over 20 years. Teddy Sugar Bear Jackson. I was there. Sugar Bear, he was there. Sugar Bear, he was there. What's up? Yeah.
Sugar Bear.
Yeah, he was there. So I hadn't performed in over 20 years. Yeah. And
what was that like?
Yeah, me and Bill got together and did a live or something, but in front of a crowd. Like I hadn't done a crowd of any in over 20 years, and I never performed the record ever by myself.
Wow.
So I got but the dude, I think his name is Todd, the head dude from the founder of the Hall of Fame thing. He loved the song Strong Island. He loved the group, and he wanted us to perform. I was only supposed to be on the panel. So we see the video in the beginning. I go, shout out to my man B Love. Actually, I wasn't even supposed to be doing this. The Todd called me the last day, and I ended up doing it. So I called Juice, because Juice is the one. Johnny Juice is the one that got me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, but what I'm gonna have to do. So I smoke cigarettes. I'm not in the shape I was in before. So it's like I went to go do the song, and B got some wordy parts before my part. So it's like there's no breath, and then for me to go come in with I was like, yo. So I talked to John. He said, yo, so we'll leave B Love's vocals up, and then instrumental your part with just the ad libs. So I'm ad libbing over B Love like he was really there.
Wow.
For my part.
Yeah. And
then there's some parts I did all of B Love's part, but like I couldn't do the whole 2-3 verses like that. Then I just ended like after 2 verses or something, whatever. Yeah.
That's still dope though.
It was good to do it. I can cross it off my bucket list. I know I can do it if now B's done it in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Because he was down there by himself. So he's got up and did, and played with my part, changed some of the words and did the beginning of the song, by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But I had never done it.
Wow.
So.
And when it was all said and done, how did you feel about it?
So I told you I smoked cigarettes. The 2 things I was worried about was don't forget your lines and don't run out of breath. So I got picked up like 10 o'clock in the morning because it was like an all-day thing. Johnny Juice lives in New Rochelle, so he picked me up and we go out to. Then we pick up Jazzy J, DJ Jazzy J, and Ben Stein, and then we all go out. And so I don't smoke since before I left my house 10 o'clock in the morning. That was like 4 or something in the afternoon. And anybody who tell you after I finished and I handed the mic to the next person, I walked straight off the stage, went on my bag, went outside and smoked a cigarette. Like I literally, that was the first thing. I called B Love because our boy, shout out to Barry Tillery, he was there and he was streaming it live, so B and his family could see it. They were in Atlanta, he couldn't come up, so they watched it, and then he was giving me feedback.
Wow.
And then Keith Murray, in true Keith Murray's fashion, who came to support me. I didn't even know he was coming. Yo, we here. I was like, dude, I just got off. Like, what you mean you just got off? And then the LOD comes 10 minutes later to me, yo, I'm like, no, I just got off. I'm like, yo. So I was talking to B on the phone, and it was good. Like, I did. He was, he was happy with it. You know what I'm saying? I was happy. The crowd was happy. Ralph McDaniels gave me a nod, which, that's gold. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wild Man Steve gave me a nod. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was cool. So,
yep.
I mean, it wasn't like watching Rakim or nothing like that. But, I mean, I did my part. I held it down a little bit, for the verse. And, you know what I'm saying? Got it over with,
Yeah, that's dope.
Look, after 20 years, not doing it for 20 years, not doing it for however long.
At least 20 years and never by myself. Ever.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
AJ, going back to big tracks and 6 feet on the map, back on the map. Was there ever a full album recorded for Big Beat?
Yes, there was a full album. I am not on the full album. I am on half the album, and then the group breaks up.
Wow.
B and Kurt do some songs by themselves. And the album never comes out because then the group gets dropped from the label. So the album never comes out. There's creative differences. Again, usually being self-contained. Not to say that you're not supposed to have producers and all that, but we didn't know that, though. We didn't never have that. So now when you got other people, you know what I heard? I did an article with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre for MTV. They basically, MTV gave them a camera and said, okay, let's try this out. Then after they had people like Prince and other people on, next thing you know, you see all kinds of people's names in the credits. Like, it was just Ed, Dre, and a cameraman in the beginning. Like, that's literally what it was. It was just us. So now all these people's names is in the credits, and all these people got feedback and trying to get us to be something we're not. You know what I'm saying? And so that had a lot to do with the chemistry of the group too. So, so pieces of it were released overseas on some limited vinyl, from some label in Paris or something.
Yeah, Chopped Herring put out 2.
Chopped Herring put out bits of it. They don't have the whole thing.
Yeah.
They have bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, Chopped Herring to the rescue all the time.
I don't know if Kurt has the whole thing. I have since lost all my stuff. My mother, it was a flood in my mother's basement. I had a crate with the first 50 copies of The Source in a crate. Like, I mean, I had all mad stuff. Like, yo, dude, you don't even know. So all my music stuff, anything I had is gone. But B-Love is the JVC Force historian. B-Love has every picture we ever took. Yo, he still got tapes in the studio with my graffiti handwriting on it. You know what I'm saying? I used to graffiti back in the days too. You know what I'm saying? And all that. He has everything from back then. So I don't know what Kurt still has. He might still have. I don't know if he has the whole thing, but I know B-Love has the whole thing. And he's not going to do it unless there's like some kind of documentary or something like special about us, and where they celebrate us, and to be like holding out to something that y'all never heard yet. You know what I mean? That it's something like that. So he's not. That's it.
Where's C-Doc? We need to get C-Doc.
I know, right? I was
just about to say, C-Doc would say, well.
Yeah. C-Doc, where you at? We got an unreleased JVC Force album.
Yeah, so B-Love has that. I mean, whatever makes sense, maybe, to come out one day.
Wow.
Some joints there was other joints. I think there's other joints that we did that didn't make an album or not. That is probably like a joint or two that we did that never made an album. Our version of We Got Our Own Thing is out there somewhere. I think B-Boy tried to redo the album and add that to the first album. And after we left, the same way they did Scott LaRock, the Man in His Music.
Yeah.
Right. They re-released the album there's a version of with our We Got Our Own Thing on the back on the side, on the B side or something. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were talking about being a journalist and all that. So, Flatline, I'm sorry, I got to do this to you, but I have a few copies of On the Go magazine.
I lost all my On the Go.
I'm so mad right now.
Yo, shout to before we go any further, shout to Espo, Steve Powers.
Yes.
To Ari Foreman
Ari, yes.
Max Glazier. Shout out to Jimmy Wentz. And they were doing their thing in Philly, and they were starting to come to New York. And I credit Wendy Day from the Rap Coalition, who thought it was a good idea to have a rapper review other rappers' records at the time. And that's how it started. And, they respected where I came from and everything. And they were small and didn't have money, so they gave me 5% of the magazine or something or whatever. If you look at it, it probably says associate editor or something.
Associate editor.
Yeah, something like that. And that was the most fun I had as a writer in hip hop ever. It was just fun. That group of guys was just, and then Ego Trip was down with us because they were doing their thing. So we was rocking with them a little bit. I never had more fun with any group of dudes outside of performing. Most fun I had, as a rapper, the most fun I had. KG from Cold Crush was a solo artist on B-Boy. We're driving down to Delaware, KG and Tony Tone and me and B Love, and we're doing Cold Crush routines. You know what I'm saying? Come on, dude. Kaz wasn't there and JDL wasn't there, but still, dude. So we were doing the routines all the way on the bus ride. Dude, how much fun. And what's crazy, we were the big group on B-Boy. So when we go to perform, we it's them and us left. So we get ready to get up because they Cold Crush. And they was like, nah, you the headliner. So they actually performed. KG performed before me. That. Wow. I'm still cool with Tone now. I haven't seen nobody but Tone. I see Tone a lot because he does Rappercon. He does a lot. We stay in touch on social media and stuff. So shout out to the whole Cold Crush, because without Cold Crush, there wouldn't have been an AJ Rok. There wouldn't have been Leaders of the New School who tried that. There wouldn't have been a lot of us if it wasn't for, hell, there wouldn't have been a Rappers Delight if it wasn't for KG. It was for Kaz, if you know that's
Kaz.
So
yeah,
one of the biggest first recorded rap records that people still listen to.
Yeah.
Dude spelled his name, dude. Good one, dude.
The CAS.
CAS. He spelled his whole name,
Yeah.
Then when I heard Cass say the rhyme one day, I was like, "Oh my god, that's how it's supposed to sound." I was like, it was like, he's just dope. Even saying something I ever heard from somebody else, he's still dope saying it. And the fact that he's still spitting and he's still holding it down.
Oh, and he, I heard a rhyme he did. I can't forget some of the punchlines, but he's just as he's still there. Nobody can tell you what age you would need to stop rhyming. Kaz is still there. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, and he's still that beast. And he's still a beast on it.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was reading an interview today and on the go, but it was I think it was you interviewing Scarface. But I pulled this out and I started reading them today. But it's just interesting,
Okay, I do remember that was the first time I met Scarface too. Actually, I think
wow.
I think one of the dopest the dopest thing I think I wrote in there was battles and beefs now and then. The thing about battles and beef from going from Kool Moe Dee to Busy B to Tupac and Biggie. The battles and beefs. You know what I'm saying? The difference in, I'm talking about what they did and,
right.
Biggie, what's beef? And then the lyrics from what's beef. You know what I'm saying? And the whole, what if Moe Dee, who was pissed off that Busy B was winning all these contests and didn't feel he was a real MC, what if he got on this stage and blasted the stage as opposed to killing them with rhymes? You know what I'm saying? That's, and then, how we got to beef with Biggie and Tupac. And it's called what's beef or something. It's one of those issues that you have.
Yeah, I think because I saw I think there was a part talking about the Kool Moe Dee and Busy B, and I think I saw that earlier today. Yep, I got it. It's in one of these.
So that probably is my most fun as a writer. One of the best things I wrote in there that I think that I like.
Yeah,
we wrote crazy. We did great work. The combination, everybody. It was just the chemistry, man. I don't know. I actually talked to Steve Powers because I got a quote or two from him for my book about artists from Westchester. Just I wanted to quote it, man. I got talking about some of the early stuff in 914. I got Ralph McDaniels in the book talking about his top 10 videos from the 914. I got Balbito in the book talking about some of the artists from the 914. Yeah, so I want to as a journalist, when you write a story, you get the experts in the field to back up your what you're doing. So I hope these artists off of 914. So I'm trying to get the experts in the field, you know what I'm saying, to be in the book.
When are you?
I got my congressman. I got my congressman who's a hip hop head, Jamal Bowman. He did this big thing. I did a issue dedicated to DMX when he died. I did a whole commemorative issue, and in that he talks about what DMX meant to him. And then when Styles P got the key to the city, he was there, and I went to introduce Styles P to him, and I got Styles P talking about why he was dope. I got him talking about what Styles P meant to him and how when he was in junior high, he was listening to the Locks and you know what I'm saying? So all of that's going to be in the book too. And he a U.S. congressman now, you know what I'm saying? So, just to show like hip hop, hip hop heads is everywhere now, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When is this book coming out?
I wanted it out in August. We're looking probably more like end of September, mid-October.
Okay.
It's called We Got Our Own Thing, a Heavy D record. We Got Our Own Thing.
Yeah. One of my favorites.
Hip hop from the 914. And I have, and then I go back to some of the early crews that you never heard of. That was never before there was records. That was legends in Westchester, and some of the graffitists. This dude I know, he was one of the New York City Breakers. He lives in Yonkers, so he's got a whole chapter on breaking and everything. Some of the graffiti crews that I went to school with, they were legendary graffiti artists that were respected in the 5 boroughs and everything, you know what I'm saying? And so we got all of that in there. Stories and, lists. Mary J. Blige, the queen of the hip-hop collabo. I got her a list of hip-hop collaborations she did and what I think about each one of them. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's hip-hop, so I was going to say, so she ushered in a whole new thing, hip-hop soul. Like, that didn't exist before Mary J. Blige. Like really singing over hip hop flavored. You know what I'm saying? That didn't exist on a level that she made it. There might have been 1 or 2 people that did it, but like that was her whole career. Like in the beginning, like that's how. So she's in there. I got interviews with Pooba. I got Lord Jamal talking about how he been them before how Pooba was the ghetto superstar before and all that, how he wanted to be part of Master Ceremony, and then when they broke up, how they formed Brand Nubians. And all that. So I got stories like that. So it's gonna have stories in there, like Ego Trip. It'll have lists, a bunch of lists. I gotta. If I can do it, I'm trying to get. It may not be complete, but I'm doing a discography of 914 hip hop.
Wow.
Going back to 1982. Where a brother named Eric McCain was Godfather KC on the record DST Cuts It Up on Celluloid Records.
Oh.
And he ended up, and then his brother Ron was in class with me. So I got to hear it. This is 82. I got to hear it. You know what I'm saying? And then Eric McCain went on to do Hype and then 2 Hype, all that stuff that he did. And then he produced a bunch of people. Yeah, but he was Godfather KC, and so he's the first person I know that I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like they had a record. It was 82. He was in high school. Like, he was on a record. Then there's stories of JC from the Herculoids moved to Yonkers, and Bam used to spend some time in Yonkers. So there's a lot of stories in there about that stuff. And so I'm trying to cram as much stuff as I can in here.
Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a read. Yeah.
So that'll be the first book. It'll be my 3rd book, but the first one you don't have to live in Westchester to appreciate. Like the other one was about, other stuff. And then I have been reminded that there better be a Strong Island book to follow. While I don't know if that's going to be this year for the 50th, it may be next year sometime.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be on all of Long Island, on the record Strong Island, or how we did all of that. I don't know, but the title will be Strong Island. Though. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of Strong Island, this always bugs me out. The actual Long Island. What is in the water in Long Island? Because there's so many diverse groups, dope groups. I think that obviously it's not like a borough, but a lot of people battle, with boroughs. Long Island is basically up there to me, knocking out a lot of the, Queens and the Brooklyn and Bronx. So what's in the water in Long Island?
Outside of like Mount Vernon and Rochelle, because I think Puba, the Master Ceremony was 86, and Hev was 86 too. Outside of maybe those two areas, Long Island was probably the first area outside of the 5 boroughs to really get love. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, but when we did Strong Island, like, yeah, Rakim said rough enough to break New York for Long Island, and the only island I was on was the strong one, right? And Chuck said Strong Island where I got him wildin'. Mm-hmm. But at that point, if you didn't know they was from Long Island. Because they were just so dope. You didn't know.
Yeah.
You didn't even think about that they wasn't from the boroughs. You didn't even think about because they were just that dope. You know what I'm saying? And Eric B was from Queens. So you know what I'm saying? Like, so you didn't know Rakim might necessarily was from Long Island, One Dance Long Island. You know what I mean? And so it was like until we did Strong Island, like it gave like pride to the region, like people was claiming it. Like there was this Disco Richie or whatever, it was this group 5 + 5 = 10, and we're Divine Sounds and we're back again.
Divine Sense. Yeah.
He was from Brentwood. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, nobody knew.
Are you serious?
I don't know if he was born there, but he lived in Brentwood at some point. Prince Paul was in Amityville. Nobody knew that DJ was from Long Island. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like before Strong Island, people didn't know Long Island even really was, they had it like that. But to answer your question, going into your question, because she wasn't from the 5 boroughs. Now, we ain't growing up with subways and in projects and, you know what I'm saying? Our parties is backyard parties and block parties and, you know what I'm saying? It's a different kind of scene. So we had to be different. You had to like represent and it's just like, a lot of people from the city moved to Long Island, Buster's from Brooklyn, everybody's B-Love's from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but we all moved to Long Island. So we brought all that to Long Island. It was just like your own originality. And I think De La, for me, I interviewed Lord Jamal, and Lord Jamal said it was De La because Lord Jamal was a street dude. Lee jackets, the dookie rope, and, the whole De La showed you didn't have to dress like that to be hip hop. That's what Jamal said. That's a quote from my book. He's like, yo, so Brand Nubians for him, he said he can't speak about all of it, but for him, he started changing the way he dressed because of De La.
Wow.
They're not in like the Lee suits and the Adidas and the Dookie ropes, and they're not on that. They got the medallions and that's De La.
Yeah.
So De La just was like dared to be different on some old other shit, like just like what the yo, like dude. I mean, I was there and I was just like, how they had a picture, they had a thing in front of LeBron in Cleveland said we're all witnesses. That's yeah. We were all witnesses to what he did in hip hop, like yo. So everybody just was different, and Biz was just Biz, like Biz was just Biz, like just. Some people mixed us and EPMD together a little bit in the beginning. We came out the same studio, 5 minutes from each other, so there's the local rivalry. We both on independent labels. They're on Sleeping Bag, we on B-Boy, so some people mixed us up a little bit in the beginning. But other than that, everybody was distinctive. Everybody was, and I don't think, I think it might have been a sound from the studio or something that maybe 1 or 2 of our records did sound alike, but I think there's a big difference from both groups.
Oh yeah.
And what they did with funk music, what Eric and them did with funk music, and from the West Coast, and I hats off to everything about them. So
yeah.
So then like you said, you had everybody. PE was PE. Like, the hell, you knew that was PE. You heard the sirens and all that. You knew it was PE. Like, you know what I'm saying? When Latest came out, me and B Love said, what's the first thing that come to mind? Cold Crush. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the in and out, the routines, the whole now. And that was Chuck and them's influence. You know what I'm saying? Hank and them. Hank Shockley, he was at the hip hop anniversary thing at the Hall of Fame thing. He was there. We were on the panel together. Shout out to Keith and them. So it just, everybody was different. And I said Ice Cube had to come. Look at that Ice Cube sound. That came from Long Island, the Bomb Squad. And all our sound was different. You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot of different. I think the Bomb Squad was a self-contained unit. I think everything they did was just all that. We were a little different than them, but we were a self-contained unit. You know what I'm saying? You know, Eric and Paris was doing all their own stuff, and you know, went through a few DJs before they got to scratch, and thanks to Jam Master Jay, and that ended up being a blessing on their part. You know, but De La, and there's other groups I'm forgetting. Freddie Fox was from out there. Freddie Fox, Fine Dance, that Sons of Berserk. They just performed Sons of Berserk. It was like, you know, it was mad people that came from that region, and you know, some people.
Sugar Bear,
huh?
Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear. I'm sorry, my brother. Yep. Shout out to Sugar Bear. It was great.
Kings of Pressure.
Yeah. You had the Murrays and stuff that came later, and. You know, I don't know what he was on when he first came out, but it was, you know, making up words like the most beautifulest and making everybody sing that along.
Wow.
But you had to be different because you wasn't from the 5 boroughs. Like, you know, Brooklyn dudes was Brooklyn dudes and girls, like, and girls, can't forget, like, you know, Queens was Queens, like, you know, Mobb Deep, the Nas, the Shan, Shantae, Roxanne Shantae, don't forget her.
Yeah.
Saying Bronx was the Bronx, KRS, you know what I'm saying? And let's not forget everybody who came before them, you know, Flash and all of them that came before them, you know, and even Staten Island, you had the Force MCs before they were MDs. You know, you didn't even know that there was nobody from Staten Island before Wu-Tang. People forget that it was hip hop before Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? So, like all the boroughs, they had their own sound. They were what they was, but you had to be from one of the 5 boroughs. I mean, you had Philly because you had Steady B. Like that had to be like 86 too, like, you know, 85, 86, 84, something like that. So but everybody else was the boroughs. You had to be from the boroughs to be respected, to be taken seriously. And Long Island turned that around, like, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't know they were from Long Island, and then we did Strong Island, and you know, and then everybody started, you know, claiming Long Island.
Y'all made me want to be from Long Island. I was from Jersey, but I heard that song. I wanted to move to Long Island.
Now Jersey, Redman. I mean, so he came out of Long Island, but Redman.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, you're right. That's another one. Yeah.
He
came his squad.
He came out of Long Island. But he Jersey to his bones. He represented Jersey.
Yeah, great city.
In the beginning, it was inseparable. People thought they were brothers.
Well, yep.
They really thought they were brothers, like their cousins. Their mothers were sisters. It really thought that they were related because you only saw them in the beginning. Yeah. I just ran my mouth. I ain't give y'all a whole bunch of questions. If y'all got questions, please. You know, I know how to talk, so you know.
No, that was great. I mean,
good conversation on hip hop. I could do this every day, all day. Like,
shoot,
we love it. I'm happy to sit here to listen and take it all in.
Yo, Ultra Mag, you be putting together them Instagram joints, yo, brother. There's so many days I'll be sitting there and I'll be like going through and I'll be like, oh, that shit is dope. And I either
Thank you
or something like, yo, dude, like, yo, for real, like, yo.
Thank you.
You and that dude, Milo the Cat.
Oh, don't say that.
He been doing like, because he was the first. Every time he take a cartoon and make for everybody. I was like, yo, that dude was like, yo.
Hey AJ, on the low, We've been battling we've been battling the last 3 years, so nobody knows that. Now they do.
Okay, well, both of y'all. I'm just saying, like, I saw him first, but when I saw your joints, I was like, oh, this is dope. And I started,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Westchester and Mr. AJ Woodson is following you on.
No doubt.
Look at Instagram. There's a whole lot of likes and comments.
And I've done a few JVC Force joints because I'm a big fan of JVC Force. So I tried to a couple of the songs that I really loved. I tried to represent them.
You gotta send it. I didn't never see this.
Oh, I did.
He didn't know that.
Oh, I did Introduction to Dance. I did I did Big Tracks.
I never seen that, dude. Because I was like, okay, so no. Forget about Milo the Cat, because Milo the Cat ain't never did no JVC Force stuff.
I did Trivial Pursuit, Big Tracks, and Introduction to Dance. I did those 3.
Tag me, dude, so I can see them, dude. So I can share them on our JVC page, for real, dude.
I will send them to you.
Appreciate that. I got Andre Leroy Davis in my book too. The last word from the source. Okay. Because he got pictures of Pooba as the Grand Pooba from the Flintstones. And
yes.
And Pete Rock in the Robin suit, and it was like the Chocolate Boy Wonder and the Carmel.
Yes.
So he gave me permission to use all those for the back of the book. And he is the last word of my book. That's the last chapter, the last word with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Wow. Now, speaking of Davis, you just made me think of my homeboy, because my homeboy TJ Davis from light skinned TJ.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where. Like
it might have been way back in.
I lived in Long Island. I lived in Westchester. I lived in Atlanta.
It's probably Westchester because he's from around there.
Okay.
But
I know the name.
He said,
I can't get the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
shout out to TJ.
Yeah, shout out to TJ. Jennifer Flatline, you guys got anything else?
We just gotta ask, what else you got? What you got coming up, AJ?
Well, the 9-year anniversary of Black Westchester, blackwestchester.com. That's the website. The books. I have that book, and I have another book that's 90% done. Dealing with police brutality. White people cannot comprehend the deadly consequences of being black. It's a police brutality book. Dealing with police brutality all over I've been working on it on and off since 2014. I kept putting it back, then somebody else got killed. I put it down, and somebody else got killed. And then somebody else got killed, and then New Rochelle had 2 people killed since George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and this dude just got killed July 3rd. You know what I mean? So that I'm dusting that off and trying to get that out for Christmas holiday between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Shout out to B Love, my brother from another. Shout out for Kirkazal. Shout out to Mike Walls, who was instrumental. Shout out to Reggie Hobbs. He's actually the 4th dude on the back of the Doing Damage album, and he's the voice. The announcer of type voice on the Red Alert promo. Like
okay.
Shout out to Reggie Hobbs.
Bring the toys.
Yeah. Shout out to Barry Tillery, he runs with us. He's there, and everybody. Monty Whitaker. There's just too many people that represent CI that was down with us. Rodney Norman, a bunch of them. So everybody from CI, love to Centralized Slip. You know what I'm saying? Love Centralized Slip still shows us love. You know what I mean? So shout out to, of course, everybody in the 914. Mount Vernon, where I live now.
Right.
Yeah. That's
and let everybody know where they can find you.
I'm probably the most easiest person to find online. So I'm AJ Woodson, Mr. AJ. My name right there. That's where I'm at on everything. Mr. AJ Woodson, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Mr. AJ Woodson, and everything else is Black Westchester and or JVC Force. So you'll find me. I'm there. I'm there.
You know where to find them.
Yep, yeah,
all right.
People talking about I can't hide if I wanted to. I'm like the easiest person to find on the internet. Like it's just somebody called me from high school somebody I hadn't seen, no, to junior high school. They found me online, found a number to the company, and called me up. And I haven't talked to this person in like 35 years. And I'm like, they found me online one day. Like, yo, I'm telling you, it's probably the easiest person to find. Like, yo, and the work we do. So, you know, I'm out there. I'm in the streets.
Wow.
And holding it down, proof to power. You know what I'm saying? Holding the feet to the fire of the elected officials.
It should be.
Anybody that got power that's misusing their power, you know.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Woodson. Thank you for being here with us.
The only thing that would have made my day even more is if Chuck D actually was here on his birthday to say what's up. But I can't even be mad though. I'm on his show. Like, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, for real, I just much love. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir.
For real.
We'll have to have you on again after the book comes out.
I
feel like there's a lot more to
absolutely.
Man, anytime you want to have a hip hop conversation, you let me know.
Yeah. All right.
Whatever. Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
No doubt. I am out.
So there you go. There you go. But before we do anything else, we need to say that this show was brought to you by the Spit Slam. Where is it? Here it is.
Label
Spit Slam
group.
record label. There you go.
The Spit Slam record label group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam record label group. Throwback to the future sound.
A little something like that.
Yeah, a little something like that.
Yes.
You're killing me. You're going to have to share whatever the issue is with Crew on the cover there. Come on, man. Jesus. I'm so hurt right now. How many of those do you have? Good Lord.
I'm done.
Are you sure?
Flatline, you beat me like every week, so I got to, if I got something, I can only win once a month, if that.
Mm-mm.
See, there we go. See,
wow.
This guy. See, wow, really. It's got the ace in the hole.
Yeah, that's pretty
Wow.
2013. God.
Time flies.
That's when that happened?
Yeah, I ordered it from him and I asked him if he could sign it, and he did.
Cool.
Wow.
His writing is it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
You mean his handwriting or his writing?
Well, both, but his handwriting in particular is like very unique.
Hand style.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So this would be the point when C-Doc would say, so Jennifer, who's on next week?
Jennifer, who's coming up next week?
Who is coming up next week?
I don't know.
I totally.
Cujo Goody.
There you go.
Oh, is that next week?
Cujo Goody.
All right. Excellent.
Run the Goody Mob.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The mighty Goody Mob.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cujo Goody.
That's great. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. And as usual, you can check out our friend up here on Hip Hop Gods.
Yep. Every Tuesday, mixcloud.com. in flotation on the Rap Station app. It's free download. Get it in your life. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you? And while you're at it, why wouldn't you download Bring the Noise?
Yeah, the Bring the Noise app. That's a free download too.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is. And you can see Chuck, who pops up a lot on there.
A whole lot.
Among other people.
Yep.
I would tell you that there's a new People's Distinctive Travels coming out, but
No, there is. There's a listen. In this month, you'll get a new episode featuring El Gant, so it's coming soon.
Oh, great.
There you go.
Coming soon. Yes.
And then on Sundays, every Sunday, you can catch your favorite DJ and mine, DJ Soulbuck.
Yep.
Soulbuck.
And Ultra Mag and myself on the mixtape.
Yep.
Sunday nights, 8 o'clock. YouTube. Be there, party people, or don't.
Don't.
Huh?
Yeah.
Preferably do.
Yeah, but be there.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to say, or be square. She went somewhere else with it.
It didn't happen.
I was going to say, or be square, but I just decided, or don't.
Or don't.
Right.
You know, it's really up to you.
Yeah.
But we shall see you next Tuesday. Again, happy birthday, Chuck D.
Chuck D.
Happy birthday, Professor Griff.
Yep.
Griff.
We're going to shout them all out. And we will see you next Tuesday.